Hey guys, it's Thursday. This is Steve, stevehufpphoto.com. I'm here today with a 50mm f1.1 prime on my Leica M10. No, this is not a $6,000, $7,000 Noctilux. No, this is not an $11,000 Noctilux. No, this is not a 50 APO. That's gonna set me back 7K. This lens, my friends, is only $369, and you could get it from Amazon via Prime. I got mine in one day. A lot of people have said, Steve, you gotta try this lens. You have to try it. It's so cheap. You could use it on your Leica. You could use it on your Sony via an adapter. Yes, this is an M-mount lens, and I have to say the construction is beautiful. And get this, guys, it's coated. It's 6-bit coated, and it comes up as a Leica Noctilux F1 in the EXIF data. So that shows you right there that 7 Artisans, the company who makes this lens, right here, 7 Artisans, guys, it shows you that they have some big aspirations here. They think a lot of this lens, they coded it as a Leica Noctilux F1, which if you buy one on eBay is gonna set you back a pretty penny. 6,000, 7,000, 9,000. So it's coded for your M already. It's $369. It gives you f1.1 aperture for low light or for shallow depth of field. But what I wanna do is, I wanna take a look at it right now. So check it out, my thoughts on the 7 Artisans 51.1. Hey guys, this is Steve Huff, stevehufpphoto.com. I'm out here today and I have a new bag, as you guys can see, but I'm not going to talk about this bag today because it's not even being released for another couple of weeks. So I will review this bag later, but it's a nice little leather bag. Perfectly holds a Leica M, and I have an M10 here today with a lens, a 50mm f1.1. It looks like a mini Leica Noctilux in design. It looks like a mini-me. And while it's not f9.5, it's f1.1, which means it's going to allow you to use this in some really low light. It's going to give you some crazy shallow depth of field. And the kicker, look how good this looks with the silver M, right? And the focusing is very smooth. There's no issues, there's no sloppiness. The aperture goes from f1.1 to f16. It's a clickless aperture design, so it's smooth. You don't hear the clicks, but that's okay. So this lens right here, it's going to give you almost the equivalent of the original Leica Noctilux F1, but it's going to do so for $369, which is insane, right? So you're probably wondering, well, is this lens any good for $369, seeing that the Leica F1 Noctilux will set you back about $6 grand, let alone the f9.5 for 11 grand. So $369, Leica M mount. It's coupled to the rangefinder, so it works, it focuses, and it's a sonar design, so it's going to give you a little bit of that flavor of the Zeiss 51.5 sonar, though it's a little different. This lens is going to be a little soft wide open, low contrast wide open, and the color is not going to give you anything like you would get from a pricey Leica or Zeiss piece of glass. It's going to give what I call dirty color, which is a little off, a little faded. But even so, this is $369. You can get some beautiful portraits with it because you don't want that crazy sharpness. Well, most people don't want that crazy sharpness in portraits where it shows every little skin flaw. This will soften up the flaws, the wrinkles a little bit, and still give you a very pleasing look. The bokeh can be a little busy at times, but again, you're paying $369, and I will tell you, this lens feels just as well made as any Voigtlander or even Zeiss ZM lens. Actually, this feels a lot like something like the Zeiss 51.5 sonar in build and looks. It might be a little bit bigger than that lens, but that Zeiss sonar is a 1.5 aperture. This is a 1.1. So I've used it a little bit. I've only had it a few days, so this is my first look. This is not a review. I will have a review of this lens very soon. I just wanted to walk around, take some shots, get an idea of what this lens is like on the M10, because as I've said now 3 or 4 times already, at this price, $369, you're not really gonna find anything close to this unless you find an old vintage piece of glass. And sometimes those lenses need cleansings, you need to clean them, and they could have fungus and issues that you don't even know about. So the close focusing on this lens is 0.7 meters, typical for all Leica M glass, so you're not going to be able to focus close with it. But again, it's not for that. This is a perfect street lens if you don't want to spend a ton of money on name brands. This is made by 7 artisans. You can buy it on Amazon, and I will put the link in the description below for anyone who wants to go read about it or read reviews on Amazon. Now, you will get flare with this lens if you're pointing it directly into a light source or the sun. It will be a little soft wide open, and the colors will be a little muted. But other than that, it's going to be a very pleasing lens and perfect for low light use.
And here are a few samples from my first few hours with the lens. This is shot with the 7 Artisans wide open at f1.1. I upped the color here to try and match the comparison shot, which I'll show you next, with the Voigtlander 41.2, but this is wide open. You can see a little bit of the busy bokeh in the background. Here is with the Voigtlander 41.2, which is a little more refined of a lens, sharper, doesn't have that busy bokeh in the background. As you can see, it's pretty smooth. But the Voigtlander is around $1,000, 900 bucks. The 7 Artisans, again, $369. Here's the 7 Artisans again. Not too bad for $369. Does this lens work well as a street lens? Well, possibly. This was shot through a window reflection, so that's why the image, he looks ghosted a little bit. It's because I was aiming into a window. He was walking behind me trying to, I think he looked at himself in the window. Also, the color, as I said, this is boosted a little bit. Out of the camera, you're going to have low contrast. You're going to have a little faded color, but you can up that easily in any photo editing program, of course, as I'll show you in this next simple test image, which was of my lamp. The color looks pretty good here. For f1.1, I am surprised at how sharp the focus point is. But it will give you that dreamy kind of look with the shallow depth of field. Here's a shot. I think this was at ISO 6400 on the M10, just in my living room to test the focus. I focused on her eyeball, and I was in focus here, though I did notice some focus shift at farther distances, like here. I focused actually on the leaves in the foreground, but it focused a little behind it. Onto the tree itself. This was just a test shot to test for focusing. Don't expect works of art here in this first look. Another test just to see the depth of field. This reminds me a lot of the Jupiter 3 sold by Lomography. Very similar, but again, this is like half the price, and the lens feels a little better made, possibly. Again, testing the color and a little bit of the depth of field. I upped the contrast here. It looks really good. Again, $369 for an f1.1 lens is pretty incredible for a Leica mount. Here it looks good. This was shot through a window into a restaurant. And again, I have no complaints about the price, about this lens for the cost that it comes in at. I look forward to using it much, much more. Here's one more shot that shows kind of a deep color. I will say the focus is off. I focused on this painting on the girl's eyes, and it just missed focus. So there's a little bit of focus shift also coming into play at the closest focusing distances. Now here's a few more words I wanted to talk about this lens before I close this video out.
So this lens comes in a nice nifty box, okay? There's the back of the box. And it comes with a pouch, so if you want to carry your lens in style or put it in your bag, you have a nice soft velvety pouch. It also comes with a focus tab, So if you want to put it on and use your thumb to focus, you could stick that on the lens. But it also comes with a screwdriver. What is the screwdriver for? What is the screwdriver for? Well, what's really cool about this lens is it also comes with this little focus test chart, right? So you test this lens out of the box for front focus or back focus. And you use that screwdriver to adjust the lens to focus it perfectly for your needs. So if you want it to be dead on at f1.1, you can adjust it to be dead on at f1.1. Lenses like this have a tendency to back focus or front focus when used on a rangefinder camera. So seeing that this is a rangefinder camera, I don't have a live view when I look through the viewfinder. I'm looking at a rangefinder patch that I must align, and when those little patches align, it should be in focus. But lenses like this, the Zeiss 51.5 sonar, and other lenses like this will front focus sometimes or back focus, meaning if I focus on someone's eye, the resulting image might be focused on their nose or their ear. So this comes with a way to adjust it, which is genius. All right, so now that we took a look at the lens and some sample images, I want to talk a little bit more about it, because to me, this lens renders a lot like 3 other lenses. It's like a mixture of 3 other lenses I have shot with in the past and have owned. I'll throw up some images from those lenses and I'll put a little title so you know what's from what. But this lens here, it renders a lot like 3 lenses. The Zeiss 51.5 sonar, ZM, the Leica mount, though the Zeiss will be crisper, sharper, and better color and more contrasty. So that's kind of in another class, as it should be, for I think it's $1,200 these days. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. This is $369. It also renders like the new Jupiter 3 from Lomography. That lens comes in at 650, 680, something like that, and it renders a lot like this, okay? But this is an f1.1, and in my opinion, it feels better on the camera and looks better on the camera. It also renders a lot like the Leica Sumerit 1.5, the vintage Leica Sumerit from quite a while ago. I used to own one. And that lens is soft, low contrast, and has an f1.5 aperture with busy, kind of weird bokeh, and it flares. This guy gives you a little bit of a weird, busy bokeh. It will flare in the sun. It's soft, wide open, a little soft, wide open, and low contrast. So it has a lot in common with that classic Sumerit. You can get a Sumerit on eBay for as little as $350 in kind of shoddy condition, and they go all the way up into the thousands depending on version and condition. So for the money, $369, and given the fact that they give you a tool to adjust the focus if you're front or back focusing and tell you how to do it, plus they give you a lever if you want a thumb lever focus, this is a deal of a lens. No, it's not going to give you a Noctilux look or vibe. It's not going to give you a 50 Summicron look or vibe. But it is a character lens, and it's going to give you that unique look that kind of sets your images apart. Would I use this for a professional photo shoot? Probably not, but possibly, depending on what I was using it for. Would I use this lens for street photography? Absolutely, without question. Would I use this lens for portraiture? Absolutely, without question, because it's going to render a portrait in a nice, soft, glowy kind of way without overdoing that glowy classic vibe. So you can use this lens on a Sony or a Leica. It's made for Leica. It's coded as a Noctilux, which is so cool that it's already pre-coded. But you could use an adapter like the Voigtlander close focus adapter and use it on a Sony. I'm filming this with an A7R III and a Zeiss 18 Batiste. Excuse my dogs, they're barking. As they always seem to do. Here's Olive. We call her Olive Head because I don't know why. She's a Brussels Griffon and she's awesome. So anyway, where was I? So the 7 Artisans lens right here, it's a great value at $369, but don't expect anything amazing, right? Expect probably the value of a $600 lens that you're paying $369 for. In fact, I've never seen anyone send a lens like this with tools to adjust the focusing in case you're having a problem, with instructions and a chart on how to do it. That's pretty amazing. It also came with white gloves in case I want to handle the lens. Like, I don't think you need white gloves for a lens like this, but it shows that they think a lot of this lens, and the packaging is top notch. $369. I'll put the link in the description below. If you own an M of any variety, this lens will work on the film M's as well now. M4, M3, M6, M7, MP. Then you got the M8, M9, M240, and all the variations in between up to the M10, and it will also work on a Sony. So for that kind of money, it's a very solid lens. There's no play in the focus. There's no play in the aperture dial. It's very, very nice. So that's my thoughts on the 7 Artisans 51.1 lens. Oh, and don't forget, if you like this video, thumbs up and subscribe. I have a bunch more new videos coming over the next few weeks. New bag review, another new lens review. So there's lots more to come. Thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.